Missiles flying, tariffs looming, and oil prices spiking. Welcome to the wildest week in the stock market yet. Want to know which stocks are about to explode and how you can profit and make a lot of money this week? Smash that like button and stick with me because I'm dropping the hottest trading tips for this week. We are literally living in history since 2020. Can it finally end, man? Golly. But let's dive in to what went down over the weekend. The Iran and Israel conflict is still raging, with both sides trading heavy blows for the fourth straight day in a row. Israel's strike on Iran's nuclear and oil facilities sent oil futures surging. Brent's crude is now hovering above $70, up 7% since Friday. This chaos pushed energy stocks like ExxonMobil and Chevron higher, while gold hit near record high as traders piled into safe havens. On the trade front, Trump tariff threats are back in the spotlight. He's planning to send letters to trading partners this week to set unilateral trade rates, which tanked the US dollar to a 2025 low and spooked the markets overall. This sent the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq both dropped over 1% on Friday as financials and tech got hit hard. Meanwhile, options trading exploded with record high open interest in oil and gold options as traders hedge against the geopolitical mess. Oh, one more thing. Oracle's still riding the high after a 13% jump last week on killer earnings, giving tech a bit of a lifeline. But with the Fed's meeting kicking off tomorrow, all eyes are on what's next. Options can make you a lot of money, no matter if you're experienced or just starting out. My course is for anyone trying to learn more about options and finally become profitable. It has strategies to help you never lose money and learn everything you need to know. First link in the description below. So what's the vibe for the US market this week? Buckle up because it's going to be a roller coaster. Here's what to watch. So first off, watch the Iran and Israel conflict. If the Strait of Hormuz gets disrupted, oil could hit $100 a barrel, boosting energy stocks, but crushing airlines and consumer stocks. A ceasefire, though, that tank oil and defense stocks fast. Stay glued to news for real-time updates. I personally come out with daily videos like this and update you guys with shorts for news right away. So sub if you guys want to stay updated, or you guys can also, use X or something like that. But we also have the Federal Reserve meeting. The Fed's two-day meeting starts June 17th, and they're expected to hold rates steady. But investors are hunting for clues on rate cuts. Futures show a 62% chance of a 25 basis points cut by September. If Fed sounds hawkish, expect tech and growth stocks to dip. Trump tariff moves, so Trump tariff letters could drop any day. And if he slaps higher duties on autos or aerospace, stocks like Ford or Boeing could take a hit. And Boeing's already taken a hit with that plane crash. But a US-China trade deal could spark a relief rally, especially for tech like Tesla. Economic data, keep an eye for May's producer price index, the PPI, and initial jobless claims on Thursday. If inflation looks sticky, markets could pull back, but softer data might fuel rate cut hopes. And on Friday, we also have economic indicators, so keep that in mind overall. So overall, expect volatility. The S&P 500 is just 1.6% off its record highs, but geopolitical risk and tariffs could trigger a 5 to 7% correction, so stay nimble. So keep in mind, gold is steady near record highs as the Mid-East war drives haven bids. We also have President Trump. He's planning to send letters to trading partners within 1 to 2 weeks to set unilateral trade rates ahead of the July 9th deadline to reimpose higher duties on multiple economies. This follows a recent US-China trade deal with a 55% tariff on Chinese goods. Though the deal awaits approval from both leaders, the US dollar weakened due to tariff concerns, and the US market saw declines with financials and tech sectors dropping over 1%. Bank executives, including JP Morgan, Chase, Jamie Dimon, expressed cautious optimism about the economic impact of tariffs over the next few months. So keep that in mind. We also have Israel airstrikes on Iran, and Iran's retaliation caused significant market turbulence, prompting traders to push into options for protection against uncertainty surrounding the conflict's duration. Oil futures surged the most since 2020, driven by fears of disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz, a critical oil route. Gold prices near record highs as a safe haven asset, while stocks fell due to concerns over escalating conflict and higher oil prices potentially fueling inflation, which could delay Federal Reserve rate cuts. Traders increased options activities with open interest in oil options hitting a record high and gold ETF calls rising, reflecting heightened demand for hedges against geopolitical risk. So now keep in mind, the market opened up kind of flat But here goes some sports resistance, and then we'll give you guys 5 stocks to day trade and some plays for today. But let's get into some supports and resistance, and then we'll get to the plays, and then honestly, it's the end of the video. But with that being said, man, for Palantir overall, Palantir is moving pretty decent. It is a defense stock. They got contracts with the government, and basically just AI for the government overall. So it can move pretty strong based on this war, especially if US gets involved. So to the upside, look at that 139, 140. After that 140, look at 142.5 and then that 145 level. But if you start falling, because sometimes Palantir does have a little bit of a pullback now, look at that 136.5, 135, 133.5, and that 130 level flat for Palantir. Next, let's talk about SPY overall. It is kind of flat. We did sell off a decent amount. Like we had a big buy and then a big sell. With that being said, we might see some big volatility swings like this throughout the day. So keep that in mind. Stay nimble. Honestly, be ready to adjust. Don't play it just one direction because you can probably make money both directions. With that being said, to the upside, that 598.5 and that 600 is going to be key. Past that 600, look at 601.5, 602.7, 603.7, and that 605 to that 610 level for SPY. To the downside, if we do start selling some more, look at that 596.5, 595.5, 594, all the way down to that 590 level for the SPY. For Apple, man, Apple has been looking pretty bearish recently. So to the downside, look at that 595.5, 594.5, 593, 592, and that 590 level to the downside for Apple. If we do start buying, because sometimes we do rebound to that 200 level, but with the geopolitical risk, tariffs, and just a lot of things affecting Apple right now, we can maybe not see it at that level no more. It might just be at around that 196 level. Sorry. But to the upside, look at that 197.5, 198.5, 200. Past that 200, look at 200.5, 201.5, 202, and all the way up to that 205 level for Apple. But have your patience with Apple. Next one is going to be NVIDIA. NVIDIA does move pretty strong. A lot of people like investing into it. So look at that 142.5, 143.5, and that 145 level. Past that, look at 150 next if you can break above that. To the downside, look at 141, 140 flat, and then 139.5. And then past that 139.5, look at that 137.8 to the downside. Next, let's talk about Tesla because a lot of people like to trade Tesla. Like there's a lot of inflows and a lot of options getting played on Tesla. So to the upside, look at that 330, 335, 340. To the downside, look at that 320. If you can break below that 320, look at 315, 310, 305, and that 300 for Tesla overall. Take your time, have patience. We have Bitcoin kind of coming up a little bit. So some plays to play with Bitcoin, just depending on how it moves. If we move up or down, you can play it both ways. You can play MSTR options, Coinbase options, and one that I personally recommend. And every single time I mention Bitcoin is going to be IBIT. It's an ETF that moves with Bitcoin, and the options are relatively cheap. So if you think Bitcoin's going to go up or down, you can play calls or puts, and it's $200 risk. So honestly, I do recommend looking at IBIT if you guys do want to play some Bitcoin plays. You can make a lot of money and not risk too much. Now it's time to get into the good stuff. 5 stocks a day trade this week and why they're screaming for action. So first off, it's going to be Exxon Mobil, XOM. Oil's on fire with the Iran and Israel conflict, and Exxon's up over 3% since Friday. It has high volume and it makes it perfect for quick swings. Watch for breakouts above 120. Next one is going to be Lockheed Martin, LMT. And why? It's a defense stocks are popping as the Middle East tensions drive missiles demand. LMT's got strong momentum and high options activity, ideal for scalping so on the news driven spikes. Target resistance at around $510. Next one is going to be Palo Alto Networks, PANW, and why cybersecurity heating up as nations brace for cyber threats. They're volatile with a 4% daily range last week. Great for day traders chasing gaps, RSI neutral, so plenty of room to run. Next one is going to be SPDR Gold Trust, GLD. Gold's near all-time high as a safe haven with heavy options flow. GLD's liquid with tight spreads, making it a low-risk day trade on geopolitical news. Watch support at $240. Last but not least, man, we got Tesla. Tesla swinging wild on US and China trade talk optimisms and Trump's drama. It's got a 5% daily range and massive volume, perfect for scalping. Keep an eye on that 400 as a pivotal point. With that being said, we do have Robotaxi launch the 22nd. Hopefully it doesn't get delayed like last time. But yeah, pro tip, use 5-minute charts, set stop losses at around 1 to 2%, and trade on news catalysts like Iran and Israel updates or Fed comments. But there goes your playbook for the week. Energy and defense and gold are hot right now, but stay sharp with those stops. Business market is wild right now. Drop your top stock picks in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and let's stack those gains together. Catch you guys in the next video. Let's get this money.